Y'all, I put in my 2 weeks before I even had another job. What is up, y'all? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi honey, my name is Jasmine. I'm a new grad nurse, and if you missed that whole journey, the nursing vlogs in school and all that stuff, girl, make sure you go catch up, okay? I'm gonna leave it up here at the top for you somewhere, Bookie. I got you, don't worry about it, okay? And if you are returning, I want to thank you guys so much for rocking with me, y'all. I really appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into the video. As you guys can tell by the title, I'm doing a life update that I owe you guys because, girl, I already know, honey, I disappeared, but I'm back, honey. I'm back. Every Sunday you're gonna see me, okay? So if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But anyway, yes, let's get into this life update video, get into the tea, all that stuff, okay? I really feel like I need to introduce myself because some people just be like seeing my videos for the first time and I don't be saying nothing about myself. But anyway, my name is Jasmine. I'm from New Jersey. So I graduated nursing school last year and I'm an LPN. I passed my NCLEX February of this year. So I just want to give you guys that background story before I get into my life update. So basically, where have I been? Y'all, I just feel like nobody talk about when you're a new grad and when you get that depression because you cannot find a job, y'all. Like, I just been, when I first graduated, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna find a job. I was already working for a company in healthcare, so I thought it would be that easy. That was not the case, okay? When you don't have experience, that is not always the case. So yeah, when I first graduated, I was so happy. Then I went to the part where I had to study for my NCLEX and all that. So I'm like, okay, studying for my NCLEX. I passed my NCLEX. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna just apply where I already work at and get a job, or I'm gonna apply at different, I applied at different places also, just in case. Y'all, I didn't know it would be so hard. It was rejection after rejection after rejection. When I tell y'all, them people don't care what grades you got in nursing school, like, none of that matter. If you don't have experience, or, I hate to say it, but sometimes I feel like you have to know somebody as a new grad to get a job. And I was very depressed because I felt like I missed all this time with my kids. Like, what'd I do that for if I couldn't even find a job, So that's why I wasn't really vlogging like that, because I didn't want you guys to see that part too. But I mean, it has to be talked about because I don't think people talk about it. I was extremely depressed. Okay, so finally I get a call back for a job. Now, mind you guys, I applied for this job before, but I didn't get the job. And I didn't understand why, because like in the interview, it just seemed like the lady loved me and all that, but I didn't end up getting the job. So something said, Jasmine, look again. So I looked and I saw that they were hiring again for LPN, and this was in the hospital setting, med-surg unit. So I ended up applying again and I got the job. I was so excited, y'all. And I tell y'all, I was so happy. I always wanted to work in a hospital. I thought that's where I would end up, right? And I tell you, when you make plans, Bookie, when you make plans. LPNs was new to the hospital that I was working at, being in the med-surg, working as a nurse. I feel like sometimes hospitals would use us as like aides and stuff like that, but at this hospital, we were actually like doing nurse duties and stuff like that. So when I first started at the hospital, we were under the charge nurse. And what you would do is you would take on the charge nurse patients. And then if she don't have any patients that day, you would ask a nurse. You would ask like nurses for 2 of their patients each, because the max we can have was 6 patients. But that rarely happened. Like, the charge nurse always had patients. So we take on her patients and she would do like the reports to the doctor about things that's going on. We would pass meds, do Foley's, all that, all the patient care we would do. But like when it came down to communicating with the doctors, like doing rounds and stuff like that, the charge nurse did that part. And I felt comfortable with that at the time because, we weren't making that much money in the hospital, okay? So it kind of felt familiar to me because if you guys don't know, I was a pharmacy tech for about 7 years. So passing meds like that was something I was comfortable with. So if the patients asked me questions, I already knew the answers to that. So yeah, I was comfortable with that. Cause yeah, we weren't, like I said, we were not making that much money. And as a new grad, it was still certain things that I didn't understand. So I didn't feel comfortable reporting to doctors. And when you do rounds, it's doctors there, it's other doctors, it's social workers. Like, it's a whole lot of people when you're doing rounds at the hospital that I worked at. So all that talking around the people about stuff that I wasn't sure about made me extremely nervous. So I was comfortable with what my job description was at the time. And my orientation process was cool because the lady that got the job instead of me, the LPN that got the job instead of me, actually ended up training me. And I'm so thankful that I met her, because she was very, like, as an LPN, she was very stern, and she like gave me advice and don't let them take advantage of you and stuff like that. So I was happy I met her, and everything really happened for a reason, because if I would have been the first LPN there as a new grad, like, I would have just been so lost, y'all. And also it was other things going on, like being as though we were new LPNs in the hospital, RNs kind of felt responsible for us, and we would hear, I'm a quiet person, so I don't know if they meant for me to hear the conversations that they were having about LPNs, but I heard it. And it was very uncomfortable, because you got to think, the RNs are the ones that you're asking, like, hey, do you need any help? Are you caught up on your meds? You know, do you need me to do anything? So just knowing that they kind of didn't want us there made the job very uncomfortable for me, and yeah, it just made it uncomfortable. So I was happy that it was another LPN there before I got there. So my orientation process was for 6 weeks. Okay, that's a good, well, other LPNs, other nurses, they were like, you're only on orientation for 6 weeks, but I didn't think nothing of it. Y'all, soon as I got off for orientation, tell me why my whole job title changed, y'all. I mean, from top to bottom, the whole thing changed. So we were no longer taking on the charge nurse patients. The charge nurse had her own set of patients, and then we had our own set of patients. But with things like, if we needed help with something that we could not do, like in the LPN, as an LPN in the hospital, it's certain things that you cannot do. So you have to ask the charge nurse, like, hey, could you hang certain IVs we couldn't do? Or if our patient IV came out, like, we couldn't put the IVs back in. So we had to ask the charge nurse. So really, she had 12 patients once you think about it. So you can only imagine how that went. Like, if they already didn't really want us there, and then the charge nurse has 6 patients of her own, and then our 6 patients, you can only imagine the tension in that hospital. So I felt extremely uncomfortable with the new job duties that I had. We had our own 6 patients. When it came to rounds, I had to do my own rounds. I wasn't trained on that, because I was told, oh, this is something that you guys wouldn't do. So, you know, and there were certain things in the chart that I still didn't know where to find certain things in the chart. We had to do our own documentation. Like, it was just different, which if I was experienced, I feel like I would have been happy about it. But because I was a new grad and my orientation didn't have nothing to do with what my new job was going to be, like my new job duties, I think that's why I felt extremely uncomfortable. And just with the tension and everything, it was just too much, y'all. It was just too much. And the pay. Okay, the pay did not change. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I was making $24 an hour. Yes, $24 an hour as a new grad nurse in the hospital. And my job duties, it was a lot added to it, but it did not affect my pay. So that was another thing. So you gotta think, the pay, my job duties changed, and the tension. Y'all, I put in my 2 weeks before I even had another job. That's how you know I was just over it. I had an aunt that also worked at the hospital. She worked in a different department. And if you know me, you know I'm like a bubbly person. I'm always smiling and stuff like that. She asked me, she was like, are you okay? She saw me in the hallway, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, did you liking it? Like, I try to make it seem like I didn't hate it, y'all, because I didn't want to hate it. I really didn't want to hate it so bad, but I freaking, She was like, well, if I notice, you know, like your kids notice, right? That your mood changed and that everything about you changed. Like, my aura changed, y'all. Like, I would go home and I would just, when I got home, I would just sit in the car, like, because I just couldn't believe that after all this, like, school, getting through school, you know, that wasn't easy. I missed everything. I missed family events. I missed things with my kids. I missed my son playing football and stuff like that, because I'm a single mom. I had to work on the weekends because that's when my school schedule allowed me to work. So when I wasn't in school, I was working them 3 days. So I did miss a lot. So you gotta add that. I just couldn't believe that this was the outcome. After all that, I'm at a job that I don't like. The tension is weird. The pay is not good. So I would just sit in the car, y'all, and I would just cry. And then when I get in the house, I just go straight in my room and just go to sleep. Like, so that was, like, it really did alter me mentally. And I didn't want that. So I had to quit. I didn't have no backup plan. I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out. If I have to work in a long-term care facility, that's what I do. Even though I know I didn't want to do that. But I mean, if that's what I have to do, I got to do. Like, I'm an LPN I would find a job somewhere. I just knew that I would find a job somewhere. So I took that leap of faith and I put my 2 weeks in before I even had another job. Child, my family thought I was crazy. My mom thought I was playing when I told her I'm typing up this letter. Child, I was so serious. I was so serious. Because once she put it in that perspective, like, you know, like your kids know this, if I know this. Once she said it like that, I said, oh no, honey. And then on top of that, y'all, not saying that I don't want it to seem like I went to nursing school to make money or I went to a nursing career to make money, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm a single mom, okay? I was expecting to be able to afford things. That's why we go to school. I mean, school is not fun. It's not something fun. So you do expect certain benefits. Even though I love y'all, the part of my job with the patients and stuff like that. It was just, once I left them patients' room, child, it was just a different vibe, okay? Like, I just couldn't do it. But I don't want it to seem like I went into nursing for the pay. But being as though I live in South Jersey, I'm a Jersey girl, you gotta make 3 times the rent out here, y'all. And it was no way, I live with my parents now, it was no way I was making 3 times the rent. One, I'm not lying, making up pay stubs. I'm too scary for stuff like that. I don't do that, okay? No offense to anybody that do, but I'm just too scary. I'm not a good liar. I was telling myself. So I wasn't doing that. And then my paychecks, it wasn't given, okay, for the stress that I had to deal with. So that was another thing that just caught, like, I was going to work and I'm like, y'all, that's not even worth it. Like, I don't even have no ends to spend. Like, I'm just stressed out for no reason. Like, I'm not supposed to be stressed out in the nursing home making money if you gotta deal with drama, right? Child, that was another thing. I wasn't able to afford things, and I didn't think that would be my outcome. Like, I thought I would at least be able to afford to move out, stuff like that. It wasn't giving that, okay? I really do appreciate y'all for reaching out to me and all that, like checking on me and stuff like that, because I was going through it, y'all. And just like, y'all like, oh, Jazz, you all right? Or like, where you been and stuff like that. Like, thank y'all. I really appreciate that. That really did make me feel like a little bit better, y'all. So thank you so much for that. All right, so let's get down to where I'm at now currently. So, y'all, I have a new job. I am so excited, y'all. I am so excited. It's more pay. It's a commute, but it's fine. The vibes is better. Like, it's better for me overall. I have just been working. I'm working on my credit, girl, working on my finances, because I can do that now. I can pay my bills and put a little something to the side, like, and I just been working my new job. So my new job is non-clinical, which is fine, you know, it's fine. So let's talk about my new job. So my new job is non-clinical, which I'm okay with that. At first, I didn't want to do that as a new grad because I felt like you got to get hands-on experience. But mentally, it's better for me. The office that I work at, everybody is nice. It's 9 to 5. I'm off on the weekends. Like, it's just different. And the pay is different. It's better than what I was making before. So, yeah, I'm just so thankful that I got this new job that I have. And I don't have to deal with that drama no more, y'all. Like, it's like a low, I mean, it is stress with the job. But basically, it's like an office job for nurses. Like, I sit at the computer, I answer phones, I answer clinical questions. Some of the patients can write me in a chat and I'm able to get in contact with the doctors, and like, I'm basically like the medium between the patients and the doctor. So if they call with a question, I would just, well, you know, sometimes people don't know like clinical, like medical terms and stuff like that. So they'll just be like, oh, my head hurt. Like, they'll send a message and I would just call and get more information. Like, when did it start hurting? Have you taken anything make it better or worse? You know, basically the things that they taught us in nursing school to ask people, like when we're trying to do like assessments. Basically, that's what we're doing. So we just gather more information and then we give that information to the doctor. So we pull out certain things that the patient wouldn't have said in the messages. We pull it out of them and then we let the doctor know what's going on. So basically, that's what I do now. And I like my job. I like my co-workers. The environment, like I said, is just better. The pay is better. I'm just really thankful, y'all. And being as though my job is like a 9 to 5 job and I'm off on the weekends and the holidays and stuff like that, I'm able to be present. And that's what I'm most thankful for. Like, that's why I was like, okay, it's not clinical, but at least I'm able to be more present with my kids and my family and stuff like that. So even though I did like working with the patients on hand, like the hospital part, I did like that part, being with the patients, I would sacrifice that to be able to be more present with my kids and be around for holidays and stuff like that. So it is what it is. And even though I do commute for now, I do plan on moving eventually. Like, where I live at now in New Jersey is not always where I want to end up. For one, I feel like it's bad memories here. It's fine for me. I would love to move closer to where I work at. I drive around the area. I'm like, oh, this is a cute area. I already looked up the schools and stuff like that. So I am thinking about moving, so the commute might not be for long. Hopefully. Whew. Now, another important question that I know you guys are probably wondering, do I regret going to nursing school? No, I do not regret going to nursing school. If I could do it again, I would. I do plan on going back to like a LP and the RN program, like a bridge program, and I looked where I work at. It is programs near where I work at, so I am planning on going back to school eventually. And of course, I would include you guys in that. I would be vlogging and all that, but for now, I just want to get comfortable in the role that I'm in now, but more comfortable with the role that I am in now before I take on nursing school, because that was a lot. It was a lot for me, okay? But there is one thing that I do regret, or something that I wish I knew sooner. I would recommend for any nursing student that you get like a clinical job, like as a nurse aide, or I think at a certain point in your nursing school program, you can obtain your CNA license. So I would recommend that. I'm trying to remember if it was CNA or MA. I think it's CNA. So I would recommend that so you can already have that clinical experience, because that's what they're looking for these days, y'all. Don't believe what they say on TikTok. They barely ask you any questions at the interview. You just hired. Like, that's not true. Okay, that is not true. That is not the case, Bookie. They are looking for clinical experience. So because I didn't have any of that, the process of finding a job for me was long, hard, and stressful, child. Okay, so I do wish I worked in like as a nurse's aide or something in the hospital or wherever, any facility. So that is one thing advice I would give, is to get like a clinical job, y'all. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching my video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because your girl do have some more stuff coming up. I'm trying to stay consistent with the vlogs, sit down videos every Sunday. If you have anything that you would like to see, make sure you leave a comment down below. But for the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.